Her father told her to get out of the house she'd been paying for, so she stopped paying for it. No shouting, no threats, just one decision that turned the lights, heat, and mortgage against the people who pushed her out. The house didn't lose a daughter that night. It lost its funding. So she did, and stopped paying for everything. The sound of her chair sliding back was sharper than his words. The fork hit the table, her sister looked down, and her mother's hand froze halfway to her glass. No one followed when she walked out. The house smelled like turkey and burnt sugar, the air outside like cold metal. She didn't slam the door. It closed itself, soft and final. Behind it, the house exhaled, then nothing. Snow had already started. The driveway was slick, the car cold. She sat for a few seconds before starting the engine, the headlights cutting through the dark yard. Inside, she could still see the glow of the Christmas lights through the curtains, steady, warm, like nothing had happened. Rachel drove slow, not because of the snow, because her body didn't know what to do next. 10 years of quiet responsibility didn't just end with a sentence. The words kept replaying, "Get out of my house." Halfway home, her phone buzzed. One text from Lena, "You didn't have to make a scene." She didn't answer. Another came a minute later, "Dad's upset. Just let it go." Rachel turned the phone face down on the passenger seat. The light blinked once, then died. Her apartment was dark when she got in. She didn't turn on the overhead light, just the lamp by the window. The quiet felt heavier than usual. For a moment, she thought about calling her mother, just to make sure she'd eaten. Habit. Then she stopped. Her hands were still cold from the drive, but she didn't take off her coat. She just sat down, breathing slow, watching the snow start to stick to the glass. It wasn't rage. It was a kind of stillness she hadn't felt in years, the moment before something finally changes. The refrigerator hummed once and shut off. The room went quiet again. She stayed that way until the air stopped shaking. And when it did, she whispered, not to anyone, just to the room, "I'm done." The next morning, her laptop fan hummed in the quiet. Rachel's fingers hovered over the keyboard, her coffee already cold. On the screen, a list of payments, every line with her name beside theirs. Mortgage, insurance, electric, water, internet. She opened the first one. Autopay enabled. Click. Disable automatic payments? Yes. The sound of the mouse button was small, almost polite, like it didn't understand what it meant. She moved down the list, methodical, careful. The cursor trembled once when she reached the mortgage account. 10 years of her money, her signature, her quiet loyalty. Click. Autopay canceled. She leaned back. For a second, it didn't feel real, like deleting someone else's mistake. Then came the email confirmations, one after another, each with the same subject line. Change to your account settings. The notifications stacked up, quiet fireworks on her screen. Her phone rang. "Mom." Rachel let it buzz twice before answering. "Sweetheart, your father didn't mean it. You know how he gets. It's the holidays, everyone's tense." "I know," Rachel said. Her voice stayed flat. "Can we talk? Maybe Sunday." "Mom, the bills are under your address. You'll need to update them." A pause. A breath. "What?" "I stopped paying." The silence on the other end stretched until Rachel heard the faint sound of the TV, the news, muffled under her mother's breathing. "Rachel, please don't. I have to go, Mom. I'm late." She hung up before her mother found the right words. The quiet that followed wasn't relief. Not yet. More like air finally filling a place that had been hollow for too long. The cursor blinked on an empty email draft. Her sister's name sat in the to field. She wrote 3 words, "You'll figure it out." Then she deleted them, closed the window, and powered down the laptop. The screen went black. Her reflection looked steady. Outside, the snow had stopped. The city light hit the frost on her window like glass. She stood up, stretched her fingers, and for the first time in years, her checking balance didn't make her flinch. By mid-January, the calls came every other day. At first polite, then pleading, then sharp. Her father's number, her sister's, sometimes even the landline, as if a different phone might make her answer. Rachel never blocked them. She just let them ring until the sound became part of the room. Her apartment stayed warm, quiet, predictable. She bought groceries once a week, paid her own bills on time, and learned the small luxury of not checking her bank balance twice a day. Then came the message from Lena, a photo of their front porch covered in snow, captioned, "Power's out. Hope you're happy." Rachel stared at it for a while. The picture looked peaceful, the kind of quiet her family never noticed when the lights were on. She typed back, "I told you to plan ahead." Then she deleted it before sending. The next morning, another message. "Mom's cold. Dad's furious. You've destroyed this family." Rachel put her phone face down again. The vibration stopped, and for a moment the apartment hummed only with the sound of her heater cycling on. Later that week, she saw the post. Her sister had written a long, emotional update online about being abandoned by her selfish sibling. Hundreds of reactions, a few pitying comments. Rachel read them all once, without scrolling. She didn't feel anger, not even shame, just the faint realization that the story everyone now knew wasn't the real one. She took a screenshot and closed the app. The clicks sounded louder than it should have. For a moment, the silence felt heavier, like the world was waiting to see what she'd do next. That night, her mother called. No anger this time, just her voice, thin and slow. "We got a notice from the bank. About the house." Rachel said quietly, "You'll need to talk to them directly." "I don't know how," her mother whispered. "You'll figure it out," Rachel said, the words calm, almost kind. There was a long pause. Rachel could hear the static, the faint pop of an old heater in the background. Then her mother said, barely audible, "It's so quiet here now." Rachel closed her eyes. "That's what happens," she said, "when the noise stops." By February, the house had turned into something else. Not a home, not yet a ruin, just a place waiting for someone to admit what went wrong. Rachel didn't see it in person, but she could picture it from her mother's voice. The cold in the pipes, the spoiled food, the dark rooms lit by flashlights and candles. Her phone rang again that Thursday. The caller ID read Dad. She almost ignored it, then pressed accept. His voice came in hard, like a door slamming. "You think this is funny? Your mother's sick, your sister's losing it, and you're what, punishing us?" Rachel took a breath. "You told me to get out." "I did." "That was anger, Rachel. People say things. I stopped paying for things I don't live in. You think this makes you better than us?" She looked at the small stack of envelopes on her counter, her own bills, all current. "No, just freer." He went silent for a second. Then came the low sound of him breathing hard through the receiver. "Your mother's crying herself to sleep. Is that what you wanted?" Rachel's jaw tightened. "No, but I wanted you to understand what I was actually doing all those years." "Providing doesn't give you power," he shouted. "No," she said softly, "but it gives options." The line went dead. She stared at the phone until the screen dimmed. Then she walked to her desk, logged into her bank again, and found the last link to that house. The joint savings account her father still had partial access to. The cursor hovered. One final click, one confirmation prompt. Close account. Her finger didn't tremble this time. Click. A short electronic chime. The same sound that used to mean paid. She sat back, exhaled slowly. The apartment was still bright, the heater humming in rhythm. An hour later, her mother called again. Her voice was quieter. "I just wanted to say, we got the letter from the bank. It's our mess now. I know that." Rachel didn't answer right away. "I hope you figure it out," she said at last. And this time, she meant it. By April, the snow was gone, the trees pale with new leaves. Rachel walked home from work carrying groceries. Nothing heavy, just a few things she wanted, not needed. The air smelled like rain and exhaust. Somewhere nearby, a lawnmower started up, that low summer hum that always sounded like normal life returning. Inside, her apartment felt light. She'd painted the walls weeks ago, pale green, and bought a small plant she somehow hadn't killed yet. The fridge was stocked. Every bill on the counter was hers, and every one of them was paid. Her phone buzzed again, a name she hadn't seen in a while. "Dad." She hesitated, then answered. "Hey, honey." His voice sounded older, slower. "We're getting by. Just wanted you to know that." "I'm glad," she said. "We, got the power back on. Finally." "That's good." A pause. He cleared his throat. "Easter's coming up. Your mom thought maybe you'd want to come by. Just dinner. Nothing big." Rachel looked around her living room. The sunlight on the table, the quiet hum of the fridge. Everything she could see existed because she'd paid for it. Not out of obligation, out of choice. "I'll think about it," she said. "Okay." His voice cracked slightly. "We miss you." She didn't respond right away. The silence wasn't heavy this time, just space, like both of them had finally stopped pretending. When the call ended, She set the phone down beside her grocery bag. The light from the window had shifted, turning the room gold. She unpacked the food one item at a time: bread, apples, a bottle of wine. Then she noticed the blinking light on her thermostat, the power cycling for a second before steadying again. The soft hum returned. Rachel smiled, small and private. She sat down, poured a glass, and let the quiet fill the room. Outside, someone's wind chime moved in the breeze. She looked at the light on her wall, still steady, still hers. The sound of her heater clicked once more, calm, even alive. The light stayed on, paid for by her, and her alone. Outside, the wind moved once more, but the room didn't flinch.